stationed near the parking garage as the rally was ending. Initial reports had come in that multiple people had been shot.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever stopped and wondered, what is it about sports that can move people to such high levels of passion and emotions? What is the power? What is the driving force that can make someone so into a game that they can resort to anger, rage, and even violence? That they can even shed literal tears, whether it's tears of happiness of their favorite team winning or tears of sadness. What is it about sports that can captivate billions of people to have such a high level of passion, zeal, and emotions that they really do not express on that extreme of a level in any other area of their life? In fact, when you really examine the behavior of billions of people that are dedicated to sports, there's really only one other topic in the world that you can compare and explain the way they behave with such dedication, and that would be the topic of religion.
Here's what they don't tell you about the brutal games in the Colosseum. Gladiatorial contests and chariot races were far more than just bloody entertainment. They were calculated displays of power. Gladiators, both slaves and volunteers, fought with swords, tridents, and even nets, battling not just for survival, but for glory and the chance to win their freedom. But behind all this entertainment, there was a darker purpose, keeping the masses distracted and showing them that Rome's power was absolute.
The ancient Olympic Games, let's talk about it, were primarily a part of a religious festival in honor of Zeus, the father of the Greek gods and goddesses. The festival and the games were held in Olympia. Now, the symbol of the Olympics are 5 interlocked rings representing 5 colors and 5 inhabited continents. The 5 continents of the world are Africa, Europe, Americas, North and South, and Oceania and Australia. What strikes me as odd is, if the Olympics is a religious festival unto Zeus, why are we there? It has to be more than ceremonial or traditional. It gotta be more than just the game.
Let's delve deeper into the darkness that shrouds the world of athletics. The ancient Mayan narrative, the underworld known as Shalba, was a place of fear, ruled by 12 lords of death. It was believed to exist alongside the realm of the living, accessible through unlikely places such as the massive ball courts where deadly games were played. These ball games were far deadlier than anything modern sports could imagine. Played on fields twice the size of a modern football field, the stakes were unimaginably high. The losing team faced being sacrificed to the gods, while the winners would kill them and sever their heads. Did you hear that? Sacrifice to demon gods. This isn't fiction, it's historical fact. The occult roots of sports run deep, intertwined with ancient religious rituals and practices offered to demonic entities. But what's the common denominator across civilizations and centuries? There was never a separation between sports and occultism. Whether in Greece, Rome, Egypt, or the Americas, sports were used to glorify demonic entities. Today, millions flock to stadiums unaware of the sinister forces at play. They revel in the excitement of the game, but what they don't realize is that they're feeding into a cycle of idolatry, pride, and violence. Violence erupts in the crowds, and hatred festers in the hearts of spectators, all under the guise of entertainment. But make no mistake, it's the occult roots behind sports that stir up these dark emotions. Whether you're watching or playing, if it's not unto the true and living gods, you're opening yourself up to demonic influence. It's time to wake up and recognize the truth behind the spectacle.
In the same way, in ancient Greece, the Olympic Games were a prayer or a worship to the Greek gods. The modern Olympic Games are also an adoration to the same spirits, who were basically evil spirits or principalities, demonic principalities. How do I know that? Now, we may seem to be in a secular world where these things don't matter anymore, but go find out the translation of the hymn that is sang before the Olympic game begin. It's basically a conjuring of these spirits. I'm gonna read you a sentence, part of that hymn. The last sentence says, "Shine in a rosetta hue and form a vast temple to which all nations throng to adore thee, O immortal spirit of antiquity." Alright. This basically tells you that many of the people who run the world, who make the big decisions of the world, many of them are spiritually aware. The people who understand the spiritual realm, and they want to sneak up on the world and open these portals to the spiritual realm so that the dark world would have an influence here on earth. But they take advantage of the fact that the majority of us think we are so illuminated, so enlightened, that those things are superstitions and nobody believes in them. Just some food for thoughts.
Do you understand the purpose of professional sports? It's a psychological anesthesia to lull you into a state of asleepness so that you do not feel the pain of them extracting all of the beauty from your future. That's why it exists. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just going to ask you the question. Does it make sense to be cheering for people who don't know you to win a game that doesn't matter and you can't pay your light bill? You can't educate your children the way you desire to. You can't take a family vacation, but you're jumping up and down because a full-grown man ran over another full-grown man over a pigskin filled with air. It doesn't make sense.
The reason you get goosebumps when you hear that song played at a big sporting event and everyone's singing and everyone's power is pulled together is because that is a spell that is being cast to collectively harness all of our energy. Literally. That song, the intention at that stadium. Look at those stadiums from up above. They all look like a freaking eye. It is a part of a ritual to harness your energy.
The demonic reason why soccer stadiums look like eyes from above.
Wake up. Do our eyes deceive us? I guess if you have a conspiracy mind, it makes sense, right? Yeah, we know the symbols and they still throw it in our faces. Makes sense though, right? The halftime show is one of the most viewed events every single year. What a time to harvest the energy from the masses, right? I know, you'll call me crazy, then still deny the symbolism. That's Madonna's halftime show. She pops her top and we see what her costume really is. Understand that sports in general are used to specifically preoccupy our minds with stuff that doesn't even matter. So you think basketball is safe from this? This is the Staples Center, aka the Lakers Arena. You guys catching what that looks like? Because it looks a lot like a reptilian eye to me. Yeah, you call it a coincidence until you see one of the biggest stars in basketball throwing up the same exact symbols. Oh, and what are those? What does that mean? If you know, you know, and I know you know. They don't hold rituals here. It's all just crazy speculation, right?
If you don't think symbolism is real, look at what just took place during the opening ceremonies for the Olympics. Here we saw a hidden cloaked figure riding on a horse. Behind him, what would seem totally abnormal is a pair of wings. What do we know about Lucifer and his fall? Well, he was a fallen angel, and 1/3 of the angels rebelled and fell with him. Revelation 6 mentions the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. One references to a white horse as well as a pale horse. So I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him. In Revelation 6, we're told of the beast that rides the white horse. In Revelation 13:3, it tells us, and all the world marveled and followed the beast. And what do we see here? That same cloaked figure riding a white horse. What's behind him? All the nations of the world following after him. This stuff isn't a coincidence. The imagery suggests that it's pointing exactly to the beast or the Antichrist of the book of Revelation.
But we're about to hit a team breathwork session, which is a ritual we've done for every fight. We basically charge up with our breath, and it's like a deep, long meditation. The first session I ever did, it's so powerful. I started crying, I started laughing.
And we're using a breathwork technique to go into a non-ordinary state.
It just brings up so many emotions,
So he says we're going to use a breath technique to go into a non-ordinary state. That's what the guy just said.
Thoughts. Maybe there's some weird spiritual higher powers controlling this career.
Maybe there's some spiritual higher powers controlling this career. There are. They're called demons.
People will probably be like, what the hell are they doing? But I think they won't be saying that after Sunday night.
You cannot tell me this wasn't a humiliation ritual for Mike Tyson, and how everything was planned and how everything went. It was definitely a message that went out to the world. If you notice Jake Paul's hand gestures, he always puts the one finger up, and you see how he did the shh. That's Masonic right there. Also, you notice how he raised the one finger up when the referee raised his hand to be the winner? Yeah, bet you didn't catch that. The one finger is used by Masons all around the world to show unity and to show there's a plan coming up next in the world. And another thing too, why was Mike Tyson always half naked every time there was a big show going on, like the weigh-ins? And right before the fight, they showed this man in assless chaps. Like, come on, man, you can't tell me that wasn't no humiliation. At the end of the day, this wasn't Paul versus Tyson. This was black versus white. This was red versus blue. That's why they pushed it back until after Trump won the presidency. You see how it said July 20th? Nah, they did it now after Trump won. And you notice all the red hats that was in the building? Yeah, that was a sign too. Come on now, y'all need to wake up. There's something bigger going on, and there's something big about to happen.
I don't care how long he works, and I don't care what he does. There is no job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum, and he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world.